Sekoko cracked first. Just a hairline fracture. Said he waited by the barn. Said Tabiso had the rifle. But a crack's not a confession. Not in this job. You need to follow the break. Chase it all the way to where the secrets are buried. Then he said something else, offhand, like it didn't matter. He said, "If you want to know where the rest went, look by the river." That's what took us there, because sometimes when a body won't speak, the land does. And that morning, the land gave up something it had been trying to forget.
Created by Hendrik. Sound design by Ethan. Brought to you by Baird Media. This is Blood in the Dust, The Wolverfontein Murder, Part 3. What the river gave up.
It was raining again. Not the kind that washes anything clean, just enough to soak your socks and turn every step into a squelch. My head throbbed like a drum. Too much whiskey, too little sleep. And now I was out here, ankle deep in mud, chasing a whisper. Not leads, not logic, just a hint, tossed from a cell like a used tissue. Sekoko had said, "Check the river." So we did. But let me tell you something. You can follow a trail of footprints in the dirt. You can trace tire tracks across dry earth. You can find blood in the dust. But here, in the mud, you're not following tracks anymore. You're following ghosts. A constable saw it first. "Over here!" There was nothing obvious. Just a subtle shift in the mud, a plastic edge catching the morning light. I moved carefully, pushed the reeds back, reached under the thorn bush, and there it was. A plastic bag, waterlogged, taped shut like someone wanted it to stay forgotten. We lifted it gently. It sagged in the middle, heavier than it looked. Inside, clothes, the rest of the towel. A prepaid SIM starter pack. 2 small boxes of .22 caliber rounds. But tucked into the back pocket of the pants, folded like a forgotten receipt. A clinic card, government issue, greased, smudged, but the name was still there. Sipho Phiri. The river was done whispering. It had started talking. I went to see Magda in hospital again. Her arm still in a sling. The skin along her neck and shoulder was bandage thick, gauze stained, with a dull yellow of healing ointments. The doctor said the burns were 2nd degree, deep enough to scar, shallow enough to survive. But survival doesn't mean recovery. Not yet. She moved like every motion had to be negotiated. Sat upright but stiff, like if she leaned too far in any direction, something inside her would split. Her face didn't show it, but her posture did, held together by willpower and morphine. She didn't cry, didn't flinch, just watched me, the same way someone watches a door after it's been kicked in. Then, quietly, one of them had a plaster on the back of his hand. That was the turn, not in the case, in me. As I stood up to leave, she grabbed my sleeve. Not hard, just enough to stop me. Said, "They didn't get the money." I frowned. She looked up, eyes raw from the pain, voice thin. "It wasn't in the safe," she whispered. "We never kept the big amounts there. Too obvious. Werner always said, if you must hide something, hide it when no one thinks to look." She told me, under the bed, loose board, small safe. Said it must still be there. "Can you go get it?" she asked. "Keep it safe for me." I said I would. But I already had that knot in my stomach. The one that tells you truth is coming and it's not going to be kind. Now the violence made sense. They found an empty safe. Panic did the rest. On the way out, I passed a vending machine and saw my reflection in the glass. Red eyes, empty hands, and for a moment I saw the Gideon that Lena begged me not to become, but I kept walking. I went straight to the farm. I pulled back the carpet. The cut in the plank was precise, too precise to be found by accident. I lifted it, a small safe, open, empty. She thought it was still there, thought it had survived what she hadn't. But I didn't have the heart to tell her, not yet. I stepped out of that room and left the floor open behind me, like a wound that no longer bled, but still remembered the knife. Masuku coordinated a roadblock. Looked routine, but we were looking for something specific, someone specific. Then, just another taxi, too many passengers, too many bags, a mess of elbows and complaints. Spotted him immediately. The man who didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even blink. Sipho Phiri. He was wearing someone else's jacket, finer than anything he'd ever worn in his life, and on the back of his right hand, a plaster. We asked to check the luggage. Most grumbled. Phiri didn't. But his eyes never left the road behind us, like he was still running, even when standing still. His suitcase told the rest of the story. Werner Retief's dress shirts, a silk tie still knotted, a belt engraved WR on the inner loop, and also a box of .22 ammo tucked inside a balled-up sock. Same brand as the ones from the river. And at the bottom, a cracked watch, face shattered, strap torn, Retief's initials engraved on the back. After we booked him, I sat with him like the others, in silence, allowing the weight to settle. The longer we sat, the more the silence changed. It wasn't stillness anymore. It was pressure. And pressure breaks things. And when it finally broke, it wasn't loud, it was a murmur, like he was afraid the walls might hear. I just followed orders. We all did. Back home, if you can call it that. Same cracked tiles, same fridge hum, same silence. The kind that creeps into your collar, sits on your shoulder, starts whispering things you don't want to hear. I laid the files out on the kitchen table. Statements, maps, timeline. I traced the timeline with my finger. Again. Again. An empty safe. Magda burned. Retief shot. Rifle in the tank. Sack. The clothes. The sun. Sokoko by the fence. Tabiso in the key. Piri and the watch. And another safe. Empty when it shouldn't be. We had the men, we had the means, hell, we even had the motive, but something was still missing. There was too much coordination, too much planning. And Sipho Piri. Piri's words wouldn't leave me alone. He said it like he was reciting something drilled into his bones. I just followed the orders. We all did. Not a name, not a place. Just that. And suddenly, the question wasn't who pulled the trigger. It was who gave the command.
You've been listening to Blood in the Dust, The Wolverfontein Murder, an audio drama podcast in 6 parts. It was written and performed by Hendrik Baird. The sound was designed by Ethan Baird. It was recorded at Solid Gold Podcast and Audiobooks. This is a Baird Media production. For more information, visit the website baird.media.